Hello to all again. Today we'll be doing the lesson for 8th of April, that's Wednesday. I hope yesterday's lesson you have understood well. Just that you need a little bit of clear understanding on what we are doing, on how to write the linear equation. But once I guess when you draw the table, it will be easy for you to understand and to understand and write the linear equation. There is nothing which you don't understand, only that those who didn't understand need a bit of concentration on what we are doing. Okay, so before we start the next chapter today, we'll be starting chapter 10, but before that, let's check our homework. So I asked you to do question number 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6, and the next page 1 and 2. So let's start with question number 3. Write a linear equation for the relationship shown by the graph. So as we were discussing yesterday, as we were learning yesterday, when they ask us to write a linear equation, of course, we have to draw the table. And first, let's find out what's the relationship, what's the pattern of the table. So here you have to draw the table. So here always you remember the first number is x coordinate, the second is y. So when the x is 1, y is 2. So in the next coordinate, I told you start from down. So in the next coordinate, it is 3 and 4. So when x is 3, y is 4. Then in the next coordinate, when x is 5, y is 6. By now, you must have understood what's the pattern of the table. When x is 7, y is 8. I already told you, write always x and y in here on top of the numbers so that you will not get confused here. Always, this is going to be x and this is going to be y. Okay, as the same, this is going to be x always. Remember, it's always the value of x given, then the value of y is given. So you need to write all of them and then make the table, and then you will see what has happened to x and y. How did basically x become y? So as we know, if the value of x is less than the value of y, either it should be plus or it should be multiplied. Now let's check for plus. 1 plus what gives you 2? 1 plus 1 gives you 2. Now, if this is 1 plus 1, the pattern should be 1 plus 1 for everything. So let's check. Is 3 plus 1 4? Yes, it is. Is 5 plus 1 6? Yes, it is. So the pattern for this rule, or the rule for this table, is plus 1. So how can we start writing the equation now? Always start by writing y equals. Y equals, and then we say what happened to the values of x. So this is the value of x, and then what did we do for it? We just added 1. So it's going to be y is equal to x plus 1. So this is going to be your equation. Okay, now moving on to the second one here, question number 4. Here already we just have 3 numbers. That's it, 3 coordinates or 3 ordered pairs. So when x is 1, y is 4. Okay, when x is 1.5, now they have given you a 0.5 here, y is 6. When x is 2, y is 8. I hope you all have written here x and y on top of the numbers, so that will not be difficult for you to understand. So let me erase this part. That's an extra part. We don't need this. Okay, so now first let's check what has happened to x to become y. Okay, so x plus what will give us y? Now 1, you know, plus 3 will give you 4, right? 1 plus 3 gives you, where is the plus sign? Okay, plus 3 gives you 4. Now if it is 1 plus 3, for everything it should be plus 3. So let's check if 1.5 plus 3, is it 6? Is 2 plus 3 8? Of course not. Now when it's not, what do? Of course, if it's not plus, you have to check whether it is multiply. So let's check if it is multiply and find out whether we can find the pattern for this table. So 1 multiplied by what gives you 4? 1 multiplied by 4 gives you 4. Similarly, before checking this, let's go for an easier one. Now 2 multiplied by 4, does that give you 8? Yes, it does. Similarly, 1.5, if you multiply by 4, also you will get 6. So that's the pattern for this table. So the value of x multiplied by 4. So let's write the equation now. Start always by writing y equals. What happened to the value of x? It is multiplied by 4. So how will we write? Can we write it as x multiplied by 4? Yes, you can write x multiplied by 4, but the perfect way of writing any number multiplied by a letter is the number first and the letter together. So y is equal to 4x, or y is equal to 4 multiplied x, or x multiplied by 4, but the perfect way of writing it is y is equal to 4x. Hopefully most of you must have got the answers correct. Moving on to question number 5. D is driving at an average speed of 50 miles per hour. So in 1 hour, she's driving 50 miles. Write a linear equation for the relationship that gives the distance y in miles that D drives in x hours. So if in 1 hour she's driving 50 miles, in 2 hours, how much will she drive? If in 1 it's 50, in 2 it is 100. In 3 it will be 150. How did we find this out? 50, 100, and 150? Of course, it's multiplied by 50. 50 multiplied by 1. For 1 hour, it's 150. No, sorry, 50. So 50 multiplied by 2. For 2 hours, it'll be 100. So how do we write the equation? Y equals, that's the distance, equals 50x, because the number of hours she drives is x. So in 1 hour she's driving 50. So 50 multiplied by x will give you the distance covered. Now graph the relationship from exercise 2. Okay, now when we are graphing, what did they say? Now here I'm not drawing the table. Okay, that's, you can use your mind, your brain for this. So in 1 hour, she is driving 50 miles. So in 1 hour she is driving 50. Okay, in 2 hours, how much will she be driving? If in 1 hour 50, in 2 hours 50 multiplied by 2 will give you 100, right? So 2 and 100. In 2 hours she's driving 100. In 3 hours, how much will she drive? 50 multiplied by 3. Put 3 in place of x, so that's going to give you 150. Then for 4 hours, how much will she be driving? 4 multiplied by 50 will give you 200. So that's all we can graph for this graph. So let's join. It's going to be a straight line. Okay, and then I saw in the homework which some of you uploaded, you are not extending the line. You must extend the line a bit to the up and up and down. Don't just stop your graph line from this point to this point. No, just extend it a bit, make it a bit longer, and then draw the 2 arrows like that. So this is going to be your graph for question number 5. Okay, and 6. Question number 5, we wrote the formula. Question number 6 is going to be this graph. Okay, so quickly let's move on to the next page. That's question number 1 and 2 on the next page. So let me open it first. Okay, so this is question number 1. A balloon rises at a rate of 10 feet per second. So it's going up at a rate of 10 feet in 1 second. What is the linear equation for the relationship that gives the height y in feet of the balloon after x seconds? So if in 1 second it is going 10 feet high, how many will it be for x seconds? X means we don't know how many seconds. So always we start by writing y equals, what is y here? It is the feet, the height, how much it's going up. So y equals, in 1 second, if it's 10, in 2 seconds, what do? Of course, you multiply. So that's going to be 10x, because 10 multiply x will give you 10x. As easy as that. You just have to write the equation. That's all. Okay, now moving to question number 2. Again, I did a mess up here. I forgot to erase this. Okay, so this is going to be the table. Of course, you have to write a table, right? Draw a table, because they're asking us to write the linear equation shown by the graph. So as usual, this is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. So let's write down the values. It's 3, and then y is also 3. For the next one, x is 5, y is also 5, x is 8, y is also 8. Now we have done a similar question like this in yesterday's lesson for the homework, sorry, for the classwork. When both the values are the same, how do you write the equation? As usual, we start with y equals. Now, how is x is 3, y is 3. So how did the x become y? 3 ones are 3, 5 ones are 5. So it's a multiplication of 1, right? So, but still, you don't need to go for all that. When the value of x and y is the same, you just say y is equal to x. It's so simple as like this. Most of you, the girls, had asked the doubt for this question number 1. I hope now that's clear for you. You just have to write the equation. It's similarly like multiplying, that's it. And this is also y is equal to x, which was more easier than which expected. When the numbers are going to be the same, you just say y equals x. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to find what is it plus or is it multiply. You don't need to say anything. You just say x equals y. Now really, girls, I should really appreciate those who are doing the work on daily work, and then they're sending me the answers, they're showing me what they're doing. That's very well done. If you all were like in the class with me, definitely I would have given you some chocolates, but now I cannot give any chocolates to you, so you will have to manage with this. So for now we will be continuing chapter 10. So until you open chapter 10 lesson 1, you can enjoy these chocolates by your from me to you. Okay. Okay, did you enjoy your chocolates? Fine. So now let's move on to our lesson. That's chapter 10, lesson 1. Now chapter 10 onwards, of course, that's going to be the geometry part of your book. Okay, it's easy. Don't worry hearing the word geometry. We are just going to find the areas of many figures, or you'll be learning many formulas. Now the most important thing is remembering and learning the formulas. Okay, now before we start, this is chapter 10 lesson 1, page number 534. So before I explain anything for you, I want you to watch what the dog wants to tell us today. But also before that, first let me tell you this: we are going to learn about the area of parallelograms. We are going to learn about the area of parallelograms, and a parallelogram looks something like this. Okay, it's a rectangle, but little bit of uh, adjusted rectangle, we can say, a modified rectangle. Okay, so this is called a parallelogram. More clear, you can see this is a parallelogram because they have parallel sides. And now before you watch the video, I will tell you what it is about. This down part is called as the base. Okay, the down part is called as the base. This one which is shown by the dotted line here is called as the height of the parallelogram. So the base is the down part of the parallelogram, and the height is the one which is standing. How tall the parallelogram is, this one is called the height of the parallelogram. So watch the video of what the dog has to say, and then let's come back and do the lesson.
Hey there, Pamela and I are looking at these birdhouses. Some local children were given scrap wood by a nearby lumber yard, and they built these birdhouses to put up in the trees. Wow, there sure are a lot of different sizes. Pamela says different size birds need different size houses. The two on that picnic table look ready to be put up in a tree. This large one on the bench still needs its roof painted before it can go in a tree. What's the shape and size of this roof? This roof is a parallelogram with a base of 9 inches and a height of 7 inches. I hope the children are bringing enough paint to cover the area of the entire roof. Let me think. There must be a way to find the area of the roof to make sure there's enough paint. You know, we can use the formula for the area of a parallelogram to find the area of the roof. Let's try it and find out.
Okay, now here you can see that this is a parallelogram because they have two parallel sides. As I told you before starting the video, this is called the base. The down part is called the base of the parallelogram, which is 9 inches, and this is called the height of the parallelogram, which is how tall the parallelogram is. You can see this is called the height, which is 7 inches. So let's move on and see how they are solving it.
Let's find the area of a parallelogram. To find the answer, you can use the area of a rectangle to find the area of a parallelogram. Let's unlock this problem. How can you use the area of a rectangle to find the area of the parallelogram? To form a rectangle, let's remove the triangle on the left side. Then move the triangle to the right side of the figure.
Okay, now why they are saying the parallelogram is similar to a rectangle? Because this part, when you join it
Now
to
the parallelogram is a rectangle with a length of 11 centimeters and a width of 4 centimeters.
Okay, all what they did was they just removed this extra part from here, okay, and then they joined it back to this part so that it became a rectangle. That's all they did.
What is the area of the rectangle?
Do you know what's the area of the rectangle? Do you remember how did you find the area of rectangle when you were in grade 5? There is a formula for finding area of a rectangle. What's the area of a rectangle? Area of a rectangle equals?
The area of the rectangle is the length, 11 centimeters, times the width, 4 centimeters, which equals 44 square centimeters. Let's compare the features of the parallelogram and rectangle. What similarities are there between the parallelogram and rectangle? The base of the parallelogram is equal to the length of the rectangle. The height of the parallelogram is equal to the width of the rectangle. So the area of the parallelogram is equal to the area of the rectangle. Let's use the results to find a formula for the area of a parallelogram. The area of a parallelogram is equal to the base, b, times the height, h. Use this formula to find the area of the parallelogram. First, substitute 11 centimeters for b and 4 centimeters for h. Now multiply 11 centimeters by 4 centimeters. So the area of each parallelogram in the quilt is 44 square centimeters.
Okay, I hope you understood this part. All what they're saying is the formula for finding area of a parallelogram equals the base multiplied by height. This is what is very important for us. You have to remember this formula. Area of parallelogram is equal to base multiplied by the height, because you need to be writing this formula every question which you are going to be solving. So the base here was 11, the base which is the down part, and the height was 4. So 11 multiplied by 4 equals 44.
A parallelogram has an area of 98 square. Find the area of the figure. First, determine the shape of the figure.
Okay.
Which name best describes the figure?
Now, which one should I choose? The figure is, what does this figure look like? Does it look like a square, or does it look like a rectangle, or is it a parallelogram, or is it a triangle? Which one should I be choosing here? Triangle? Rectangle? Then parallelogram? Yes.
You're right. The figure is best described as a parallelogram. What is the formula for the area of a parallelogram with base B and height H?
Okay, so what was the formula which we learned now? Area of the parallelogram equals B plus H, right? B plus H. No? Then B divided by H? The area of a parallelogram, just 2 minutes before we studied. What is it? B minus H? Yes, it is B multiplied by H.
You're right. The formula for the area is base B times height H. What are the values of B and H?
Okay, now we have to be entering the numbers. So the base of the parallelogram is always the down part here. So how much is that? That's going to be 9.4. And the height, which is the height, how tall it is, that's going to be 1.6.
You're right. The base is 9 4/10 meters, and the height is 1 6/10 meters. So the area equals 9 4/10 meters times 1 6/10 meters. What's the product of 9 4/10 meters and 1 6/10 meters?
Okay, now this is where again multiplication and decimals comes in work. So if you multiply 9.4 by 1.6, you girls know how to do it, and then you will count how many decimal places from one to another. Now if you do that, you will be getting the answer 15.04.
You're right. The product is 15 400 meters squared. The area of the parallelogram is 15 400 square meters.
Okay, now I will pause this video here because the next part we will be learning tomorrow what to do. So let's go on and start doing our the classwork. So we will not be doing anything in page 533 because I just don't want to, it's the same as the video which you watched. If you can do it by watching the video, well, you can go ahead and try to complete it. It's okay. But let me start by the example 1, which is on page number 534. So let's do it together. Use the formula A is equal to BH, which means B multiplied by H, to find the area of the parallelogram. So always we start by writing the area first. Area is equal to BH. So the base is 6.3, and the height, that's going to be, what's the height going to be for this? The height is going to be 2.1. So you have to be writing, you start writing and solving until, okay, that's going to be 2.1. So 6.3 multiplied by 2.1, how much is that going to give you? 6.3 multiplied by 2.1 is going to give you 13.23. Now, you know how to solve decimals, right? 6.3 multiplied by 2.1 will give you 1,323. Then you will count how many decimal places. So it will be 2. You will put 13.23. Now, so the area of the parallelogram is 13.23 square meters. This is how we find the area of a parallelogram. It's easy. Only thing is you have to remember this formula. Okay, now here see, a square is a special rectangle in which the length and width are equal. For a square with side lengths S, area is equal to, now I don't want to confuse you with all this, I just want you to concentrate only on this part. Area is equal to S square. S square means the S multiplied by the S means we are going to be multiplying this S, that's the side with side again. That's why they gave you as s square. Now you know the square of something. For example, 5 square means 5 multiplied by 5. 7 square means 7 multiplied by 7. Same way, s square means side multiplied by the side. Okay, now what are we going to do? We will see, you will see in the next example. That's example number 2. Find the area of a square with sides measuring 9.5 centimeter. So 9 point, you know the speciality of a square is all the sides are equal. So if one side is 9.5, the other side is also going to be 9.5. Okay, now what does this mean? Write the formula. So a formula of a square is s square, or s multiplied by s. So side is 9.5, so we are going to be writing 9.5 here. Okay, now 9.5 square means 9.5 multiplied by 9.5. Now when you multiply 9.5 and 9.5, what is the answer you are going to be getting? 9.5 multiplied by 9.5 will give you 90.25 centimeter square. So this is how you find the area of a square. So now you know two things. One, area of a parallelogram, which is base multiplied by height. Number two, area of a square is s square, which means the side multiplied by the side. Okay, now let's try to do question, example 3. I will not do, I will explain that part tomorrow. So let's start by solving question number 1. Okay, so question number 1, we have find the area of the parallelogram or square. So always this first you need to decide, is this a square or a parallelogram? We aren't that stupid. As soon as we see, we know that it is a parallelogram, right? Now the area of a parallelogram is base multiplied by the height. So base, which is the down part, is 8.3 multiplied by the height, which is 1.2. What do you think is 8.3 multiplied by 1.2? You have to do the steps, of course. You have to write 8.3, 8.3, then down you will write 9.6, and then you will start multiplying. But that's going to be very difficult for me to do here, because that's going to give you like 6 3s are 18. So you will carry 1 up. So 6 8s are 48, plus 1 is going to give you 49. Okay, let me just move this. Okay, so 6 3s are 18, carry 1 up, 6 8s are 48, plus 1 is 49. Then for the next part, of course, you need to be adding a 0 first before you start. Then 9 3s are going to give you 27, so 7 here, 2 up. 9 8s are 72, plus 2 is going to give you 74. I hope I'm doing it like easy. You girls can see how difficult it's for me to move the cursor, right? So now let's add them up. So that's going to give you 8 plus 0 is going to give you 8, and then 9 plus 7 is going to give you 16, but you will carry 1 up. So 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and then it is 7 here. So your answer, which before placing, see something I did here. Wait. Oh, why did I put 9.6 here? Fine, wait. It's 8.3 multiplied by 1.2. Really sorry for that, girls. I don't know. I was just. Let's solve it again. That's not a big issue. The only issue is I cannot erase this now. Okay. So now you know the steps how to do them, right? You know how to multiply. Now I'm not going to be multiplying that again. So all what I want you to do is do it by yourself. Place the decimal points. If I can erase, yeah, I can. So let's do it together. Once I show one, the next one I'll not be showing you. Okay, so 2 3s are going to give you 6, right? 2 8s are going to give you 16. So then before starting the other one, you have to be writing 0. So let's place the 0 first. So 1 3s are going to give you 3, right? And 1 8s are going to give you 8. So now what is left? We have to add this 2. So 6 plus 0 will give you 6. and then 6 plus 3 will give you 9, and then 1 plus 8 will give you 9 as well. Now, where are we going to place the decimal points? You will count from one place to the other. So from this decimal point to this decimal point, we have two numbers, which means from here we will count. It's 1 and 2. So your decimal point should be here. So your answer is going to be 9.96. I know I can hear your girls' voice. Why you teacher you can use the calculator, but you know that calculators are not allowed for you. Okay, so this is going to be your answer. I will give you 1 minute only. Start doing question number 2 by yourself. Start by writing the formula first. Always, this is very important. Always start by writing the formula, because the formula has marks too in case if you have a quiz. So start doing it. Okay, done. You don't need much time at all. So once you have written the formula, A is equal to, the base of this is 15 multiplied by the height is 6. So 15 multiplied by 6 is going to give you 90 feet square. So the area of the parallelogram for this is 90 feet square feet. Okay, now this is, first you decide, is it a parallelogram or is it a square? What does it look like? It's a square. So what's the formula for area of a square? Area of a square is equal to s square, s to the power of 2. But here I cannot write s to the power of 2 because the keyboard doesn't have that option. So I will write s multiplied by s. You can use any one. You can say s multiplied by s or s squared, because you are writing, you can do it, but here I cannot do. So s square. So s square means area is equal to 2.5 multiplied by 2.5. So how much is 2.5 multiplied by 2.5? Going to give you, quickly calculate and tell me the, write the answer. That's going to be 6.25. You have to be fast enough. If you take so much time in one question, how will we finish the remaining, right? Okay, the next one is a fraction. So then again, we have to decide, is it a parallelogram or is it a square? It is a parallelogram. So the area of parallelogram is equal to base multiplied by height. So here now we are going to multiply 2 over 3 multiplied by, now again girls, as usual, you know, I don't have the fractions symbol in the keyboard, so I'm going to write it like this. This means 2 over 3 multiplied by 3 over 4. Now you can do it quickly and tell me the answer. What are you going to do? Simply multiply the two numerators. So that's going to be 2, or cancel them. You can even cancel them, it doesn't matter. So if you cancel, you will have to cancel 3 and 3, and then 2 and 4. So your answer is going to be 1 over 2. How 1 over 2? Even if you multiply 2 3s are 6, 3 4s are 12. Your answer is going to be 6 over 12. So if you simplify 6 over 12 by 6, your answer is going to be 1 over 2. Okay, so it's just simple multiplication, nothing else. Okay, now that with that, I will just stop the lesson for today, but I want you to do some questions, of course, as homework. Okay, you will be doing question number 7 and 8 from this page, from the same page, question number 7 and 8 from the same page, and then question number 2 and 4 and 5. Listen to me carefully. Question 2, 4 and 5 from page 537, and question number 7 and 8 from page 535. So that means you have 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 questions. So you have 5 questions to be done as homework. It's not difficult at all. And do not use your calculators. That's the most important thing. So until I meet you girls in the next video, stay safe and take care of yourself.